Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video this morning I am going to be giving you my match reaction for the Manchester United Wolverhampton game that ended Manchester United 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0 yesterday. So reflecting on the win, we do progress to the fourth round in the FA Cup, and we do play the winners of Watford or Tranmere. And at long last, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has finally, beaten Wolves as a manager, because obviously, prior to the game, Wolves were unbeaten in their last 5 games against us. Over the course of the 180 minutes, you can say Wolves were the better team, and you can say, we were a bit fortuitous. But all that matters is, we did win the game, and we are now, of course, into the fourth round of the competition. But I've got to admire Wolves. They're a very, very good team. They've got a good manager in Nuno Santo. Probably, from a Wolves perspective, they were hoping, that they could, enjoy a good cup run, like they did last season. Because last season, Wolves progressed to the semi-finals of the competition for the first time in 21 years. So this is what Wolves did, But Solskjaer, of course, had made 2 changes, in this game against Wolves, from obviously, the 4-0 win against Norwich. But I've got to say, the performance, again, wasn't too good from Manchester United. I thought a lot of aspects of the game yesterday replicated, the game at Molineux. I thought it was very flat. It was boring, not many chances, and it wasn't really good. But I thought there was actually, some good individual performances. I thought, Wan-Bissaka, played really well. He had a lot of the ball in the early exchanges. He darted forward well, did Wan-Bissaka, and he's been a very good signing for us so far. But I thought he did fantastic at right back. I also thought Harry Maguire and Lindelof did well at the back. Their distribution were fantastic. I thought Brandon Williams did well at left back. Sergio Romero basically in the game had nothing to do, I think, except from the chance that Raul Jimenez had in the first half. Wolves also had a disallowed goal. It was Pedro Neto, was it, who scored for Wolves, but the reason the goal had been disallowed is because Raul Jimenez had handballed it, building up to the goal. Romero, of course, now has kept 34 clean sheets in 54 in all competitions. Matic, I don't think it was too bad, but I've still got a lot of element of concerns about him. I think he's too slow in that midfield. That was Matic's 100th appearance for the football club yesterday. Fred, wasn't too good. That's my own perception. I thought, Greenwood, I don't think, we give the likes of Greenwood and the likes of Juan Mata enough service. I don't think, they got the ball enough. I thought, they were a bit quiet. But we actually, did have some chances in the first half, and, Ruddy, had to make some decent saves. I thought most of the saves, were actually, straightforward, to be fair. Juan Mata had a couple of chances. I also thought we deployed a lot of long balls in that first half. Definitely we was long ball FC in that first half, and I think a lot of United fans will tell you that. But, James could have had his name on the score sheet, because Daniel James also had some decent chances, So, yeah, so it was 0-0 at half-time. Then in the second half, the goal came from Juan Mata. I've got to say, Juan Mata is in scintillating form at the moment. 2 assists against Norwich. It was good to see him, score yesterday, and it was a lovely goal. The actual goal came from a mistake from Wolves, and it was a lovely goal as well, lovely little chip over Ruddy. It was Martial who got the assist, but it was Harry Maguire who was the architect, because, he'd actually won the ball back from a mistake from Wolves. But yeah, fair play to Juan Mata, and he brought some substitutions on then, did Solskjaer. We saw Andres Pereira come on for Mason Greenwood. Rashford then came on. I think, for Daniel James. But Rashford had only been on for around 15 minutes because he was involved in a challenge with Man Utd, and now Rashford is currently injured. I think he's injured his back as Marcus Rashford. Now, obviously, he could be a doubt for the Liverpool game on Sunday. And hopefully, Rashford's injury is not too severe. Because Rashford, you can say, has definitely been one of our best players this season. Rashford has made, obviously, now over 200 appearances for the club. He scored 63 senior goals in all competitions since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. And Rashford was injured early on this season. He was also injured last season, so I'm hopefully that Rashford's injury is not too severe, definitely. And we've had a lot of injuries this season, and obviously that is an element of concern. We've got players that are close to returning from injury. Obviously, Bay's close to returning from injury because Solskjaer did confirm that Eric Bay could be back for a Liverpool game this Sunday. He did play for the reserves the other day because Man United arranged a reserve game for him. Bay's been out of any injury so far for the entirety of the season, so he has been out since pre-season. Fosu Mensah was also been out with a knee injury. I think he's close to returning. Luke Shaw's out with a hamstring problem. We've obviously still got Pogba and McTominay out, and I said reflecting on their injuries, we do look very exposed in that midfield. I think Pogba's expected to be back in late January or February, and McTominay is not expected back until February. Lingard, of course, came on in the game, by the way, for Rashford coming off. Lingard has just come back from illness, and Jesse Lingard again, didn't really make an impact. I've got a lot of element of concerns about him, and I think he's one of the players that Manchester United do need to consider getting rid of, because reflecting on Jesse Lingard's status at the football club and reflecting on the number of years he's been here, he should be performing to the standards as we should expect him in. And expect him when he is on around £100,000 a week. But yeah, so it wasn't the best of performances yesterday, like I said, but we got the job done. We're into the fourth round of the competition, and I did say, didn't I? I think now the FA Cup is an ambition for us. I said we've got a few ambitions, and I said Solskjaer this year overall anyway has got many expectations to exceed. So it would be good if we could win the FA Cup. We haven't won it since the Louis van Gaal era, which was back in 2016 when we did beat Crystal Palace in the final 2-1. But yeah, it would be good for us to win the FA Cup. You can also say the Europa League's a priority for us because it's another route to Champions League football, plus it's another chance of us getting silverware on the board. I did say the Carabao Cup was a priority for us, but it's looking like now we're not going to get into the final of the Carabao Cup because we're 3-1 down in the first leg against Man City. Definitely top four's a priority because we want to get that top four this season. Some Man United fans are very sceptical that we're going to get that top four. But we are still in that top four race because, we are only 5 points behind Chelsea. So there's still a possible chance that Man United can finish in that top four. So obviously for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to stay at Manchester United, I think, we need to get some silver on the board, and we also need to get that top four. If we don't meet these expectations, then I do believe Solskjaer will be gone at the end of the season. But we was pretty good in the FA Cup last season. We didn't win it, but, we enjoyed a very, very good cup run. We got past Reading in the third round. We got past Arsenal in the fourth round. And we got past Chelsea in the fifth round. So we did really, really well. And we've obviously won the FA Cup around 12 times. Arsenal, of course, have won it the most times. They've won it 13. But, we are second, just behind Arsenal. Just behind Arsenal. And, yeah, so it was good that we got the job done. And like I said, I think, Man United have got a pretty decent team. Like I said, it's probably not being coached as we want it to be coached and that. And I said Solskjaer's inheriting a pretty decent team, reflecting on the amount of money that's been invested into the squad over the years. I think, we've got a better team than Wolves, but I just think the comparison is that, Wolves' team is coached better than Manchester United, basically. Wolves, of course, now will be probably focusing on the league. They'll be obviously, focusing on the Europa League as well. Wolves last season did finish 7th. So in that aspect, they got automatic qualification for the Europa League. And that's very good to their standards. And as you all know, they are into the knockouts of the Europa League. And I'm very sceptical, of course, that they will win it but, there's a couple of players I would take at Wolves and bring to Manchester United, definitely. I'd definitely not take Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez is a striker. The midfield's more of a priority area, than that attacking line, but I'd still, be determined to get Raul Jimenez in. Obviously, a lot of reports have been emerging out saying that Man United are interested in Raul Jimenez from Wolves. There were reports coming out about it, after the game, Molineux was saying, Man United were in for him. He had a few more speculation because Nuno Santo had admitted that he could leave in this January transfer window. It did reportedly say he would cost us a substantial amount. Maybe we'd have to pay in the region of around £100 million for Raul Jimenez. And he's a very, very good player, and I think he's been a revelation for Wolves. Raul Jimenez has made around 71 appearances for Wolves in all competitions. I think around 60 of his appearances have come in the Premier League, and I think he scored around 21 goals in the Premier League. Raul Jimenez is 28 years of age, so he's in his late 20s. Obviously, before he was at Wolves, he was at Benfica, Atletico Madrid, and he actually was in America's youth system. Wolves, I think, paid around £30 million for him to get him on a permanent transfer, because at one point, Wolves did have him on loan. And I think he would be a good adequate replacement for Lukaku and Sanchez, with Raul Jimenez, and he would add more experience in our attacking line. I'd also take Ruben Neves. Now, he's another player, we've attracted our interest in, very, very good midfielder, can provide goals from midfield, very creative. His eye for goal is fantastic. His passing's very, very good. And he's only at the age of 22, he's Ruben Neves. So he's another player I'd definitely take from Wolves, because he would dramatically improve our midfield, definitely, with Ruben Neves. Bruno Fernandes to Man United, I think it's still happening. There's a lot of trustworthy in it. Obviously, we do know this week and all that, there's been a lot of stories coming out, mainly from the Portuguese press regarding Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, when it gets reported in Sky Sports and when it comes from the BBC, which are two reliable sources, it's definitely now happening. I think we are expected to announce the signing of Bruno Fernandes by the end of this week. I'm very sceptical that we're going to sign him by Friday, 12 p.m, because I think Sporting Lisbon want to play him in their game against Benfica, because obviously, Sporting Lisbon and Benfica is the biggest game in Portuguese football. Obviously, so I don't think he's going to make his debut against Liverpool on Sunday, so I can't see us signing him by Friday. Jorge Mendes arrived in London yesterday regarding the Bruno Fernandes transfer, so that has obviously, fueled more speculation up. But I think he's definitely signing, so I think he's going to be our first signing this year. He's going to be our fourth signing overall under the Mulligan and Solskjaer era. And he's, I don't think no fee has yet been agreed, but I think the personal terms have been agreed. But I know how much he's going to cost us. I think he's going to cost us around £60 million, is Bruno Fernandes. We pay around £50 or £51 million up front, and it is around £9 or £10 million in add-ons. We've had negotiations of what contract he's going to get, and I think it's going to be a 5-year deal. So he's going to be under contract on Man United until 2025, and he's going to get an increase in his wages because he's set to earn around £100,000 a week. So I don't know, does that, equate to around £4 or £5 million pounds a year? It also says, that Marcus Rojo could be a part of the deal. I think, obviously, Marcus Rojo is one of the problematic players at the football club that does need to be moved on. Because he sustained quite a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player. And Rojo, of course, is a former Sporting Lisbon player. He's a former Sporting Lisbon player, and there's also talks that Pereira could be a part of the deal. But we was, relentlessly, linked with Bruno Fernandes last summer. But I think the explanation why we didn't get Bruno Fernandes last summer is because, we didn't put an official bid in. We wasn't willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation. Tottenham have recently reignited their interest. Obviously, City and Liverpool were in for him last summer. But I think now his preference is comparison, because now his preference is moved to Man United. He's notified Sporting Lisbon about this. But last summer, his actual preference was a move to Tottenham. So take that into account. He's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023 because he extended his contract in November of last year, did Bruno Fernandes. But I've got to say he'll be a great addition to our squad, because I think he's had a good couple of years with Sporting Lisbon as Bruno Fernandes. He's now, of course, into his third season with them. And I think, he was good in the Serie A when he was younger, because when he was younger, he spent the entirety of his career in the Serie A with Sporting, underneath, and Sampdoria and Novria. And he's only the age of 25. But Bruno Fernandes is a player that can provide goals from the midfield. He can create chances. Not only that, he can provide assists. He's good at tracking back. His passing's very, very good. And he's got all the attributes, definitely. And I think, in the Premier League, he will replicate, what he has done with Sporting Lisbon, definitely. So I'm excited about the prospect of him coming in, because I think he'll blend in alongside Paul Pogba and McTominay well in our midfield, of course, when they do come back from their injuries and that. And Solskjaer's already making plans for the summer transfer window. We have identified quite a few targets who we could go in for in the summer. But I think after we do complete the signing of Bruno Fernandes, we need to, get at least one more player on the board. Because Solskjaer's orchestrating on making at least 2 signings in this January transfer window. But our board are determined to back Solskjaer in the next couple of windows. So we're determined to back him in this January transfer window. We're also determined to back him in the summer. But Solskjaer's given his overarching view on all of it. And, he thinks, Man United can still compete for the biggest players, despite the fact we've been inconsistent for the vast majority of this season. And we've been inconsistent for the last 6 or 7 years and that. So... But, Solskjaer, is aware that he's under intense pressure at the football club. And he's been under intense pressure for the vast majority of this season. Obviously, because we've only won 9 games out of 22 in the Premier League so far. It did reveal yesterday, by the way, how much it would cost the club to get rid of Solskjaer. And it did say, we'd have to pay around £5 million to get rid of him. And that's obviously around £15 million less than what we paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho, because we paid around £20 million to get rid of Jose Mourinho. I think we paid around £9 million to get rid of Louis van Gaal and that. But I'm very sceptical, that we'll sack him at this present time, because I just don't think our board will sack him. I think, one of the explanations is with him being a club legend. I think, in that aspect, that softens the board's stance. Because I think disregarding being a club legend, you could say probably, Solskjaer would have been sacked by now. But I've got to take into account, like I've said on my other videos, we've done really well against elite opposition this season mainly. But we've struggled to, replicate that against their lower opposition, and that is definitely an element of concern, And, Solskjaer has got a 3-year contract with the club, and I think, probably 3 years is enough for him, to, address the deficiencies in the squad and, to get Manchester United back to being competitive. He's got around 2.5 years left on his deal, and he's on around £7.5 million a year. But we've got to get the right calibre players in that can get Manchester United back up there, challenging for major honours, because we're not on that level as yet, and it's going to take us several years, for us to emulate that level. So we're not obviously on City's level yet. We're not on Liverpool's level, because obviously at the moment, they are strides ahead of us. But, we do want to be a future title contenders. And Solskjaer recently gave us an update on our title ambitions. And, he doesn't think, we're going to challenge for the title next season. I think, next season we'll probably be in the exact same position as we now, probably, fighting for that top four, because I think our expectations will be that top four next season, just like it was at the start of this season, to be quite honest with you. But, we won't win the league next season. When are Man United, going to challenge for the title? Are we ever, going to win the Premier League again? Because we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, and that was in Alex Ferguson's last season. So it's around 7 years now. 7 years now. Since 7 years ago. Since we won the Premier League. But I did say, didn't I, at the start of this season that, I expected us to enjoy a better season this season than what we saw last season, but I didn't expect us to challenge for the league. But last season was very disappointing, because last season we finished 6th. And I think if I'm right, that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League area, definitely. But I still feel as though that we need to see a variety of changes at the football club, like I've said on the other videos. We still need a change of management. We need to get Ed Woodward out, because obviously quite clearly he's not reliable enough to oversee our transfer business. He assured Galactico signings at Man United. We need to get rid of our current board. We also need to get rid of the Glazers. A lot of United fans, of course, want the Glazers out of the football club. And there's definitely still more players that need to leave Manchester United. I think, we need to get rid of around 6 or 7 players this year, definitely. Despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Solskjaer's arrival, I want to give you a bit. I want to give you a bit of news, by the way, regarding Ashley Young. Reportedly now, he's moved to Inter Milan. Is now not going to happen, so it's in doubt basically, due to the swap deal with Roma. I think this has been agreed, between Inter Milan and Roma. He did say Inter Milan were in talks of getting Ashley Young. They were in talks with Man United over getting Ashley Young. I did say if Young leaves, he will leave at the end of this season when his current contract expires. Because reportedly, we are reluctant to let Ashley Young leave in this January transfer window, reflecting on the injuries that Man United have got. Well, this is stemming from Solskjaer anyway. There's been a few other clubs that have entered the race for him. It says Crystal Palace and Lazio have been in for him, so to his former club, Aston Villa. But we've definitely now got to get rid of Ashley Young, because Ashley Young has initially lost his place in the team. He's initially lost his place in the team, because since the arrival of Wan-Bissaka, he's been established as our first choice right back. So Young needs to be moved on. Young turned down a new 1-year extension last summer. Recently. But last season, we did give him a new 1-year extension. Young is now into his 9th season as a Manchester United player. He has enjoyed 8 years here, so he's been a long-serving player. He's 34, he's nearly 35, so he has passed his sell-by date at the football club. Fabrizio Romano, who was an Italian journalist, he came out not too long ago and allegedly said that Young had agreed a contract with Inter Milan until 2021. So he's moved now to Inter Milan's not materialising. Don't forget, Inter Milan got Lukaku and Sanchez off us last summer. So don't forget that. So yeah, it's looking like he's not going to be going to Inter Milan. But Young has made a total of 261 appearances for Man United in all competitions. We need to move Phil Jones on, because he's another one of the problematic players. I think we need to get rid of Matic. I thought Matic wasn't too bad yesterday, like I said earlier on in the video, but he's just too slow, and I've got too many reservations about him. And again, we overpaid for Matic, because we paid, £40 million in from Chelsea, and now he's into his 3rd season with the football club. I'd get rid of Lingard. I'd also get rid of Chong. Chong's not on that level yet, and I think, he needs to be loaned out. So if the club could loan him out, that would be very, very beneficial for us. Andres Pereira, I'd also, get rid of him. But there again, there's still some players at Man United I would be determined to keep, that I feel as though that are the long-term solution for the club. I'd keep Rashford. He's done well. I'd keep Anthony Martial. Keep the 3 signings that were recommended in. Keep Lindelof, because he's done well at the back with Maguire this season. keep McTominay because before he got injured, he did really, really well in our midfield. I would still be determined to give Fred more time at the football club, definitely. So keep Fred. So yeah, these still players I would be determined to keep. Probably get rid of Paul Pogba. Pogba obviously has enjoyed them really a difficult time at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. I give you an update regarding Paul Pogba yesterday, and he did say that Paul Pogba is likely to leave Manchester United this summer, but I'm very sceptical, that he will leave in this January transfer window. Obviously, Real Madrid and Juventus are in for him. That replicates last summer because Real Madrid and Juventus were also in for him last summer. But his actual preference last summer was a move to Real Madrid. And I think he's still got the same preference. But the main explanation why Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid didn't materialise last summer was reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we said we wanted 150 million. Real Madrid were reluctant to meet that. This is why his move didn't materialise. And I think it would be beneficial if we could sell him anywhere. I think, we could still get at least £100 million for Paul Pogba. And I just feel as though that Paul Pogba is disrespecting the club. Also, his agent Mini Raiola is disrespecting the club. He recently came out as well and criticised the football club. But according to Mini Raiola, he says his client wants to win prizes at Manchester United. Who's to say Paul Pogba won't make a return back to Turin? Because he did enjoy 4 good years in Turin. The vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Turin. Obviously there was speculation about him going to Barcelona before. Pogba's missed the vast majority of our games this season anyway due to injury. He's currently out with an ankle injury at the moment. Not too long ago, he had the operation on his ankle. And according to him, the operation went well. But yeah, and Solskjaer recently revealed that this injury is a total comparison injury, to the previous injury he had, because before he was out with injury for around 3 months was Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. Yes, he has, and he's got around 14 or 15 months left on his current contract. He's on around $209,000 a week at the club, so in that aspect, he's one of the highest paid players. And, he's our most expensive signing because, we paid £89 million for him. So, obviously now, we've got quite a few players on our agenda, who could replace Paul Pogba at Manchester United, definitely. I will be giving you an update on some more transfer news later on today. Well, I should be anywhere. So, yeah. I've also been keeping up to date with what's been going on with Mauricio Pochettino, because obviously it's very, very imminent. He will be our next manager if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is to be sacked by Manchester United. Obviously it did confirm that Man United have held secret negotiations with Mauricio Pochettino. And obviously, there was reports emerging out from Sky Sports a couple of days ago saying that Barcelona identified Mauricio Pochettino as their primary candidate to replace Ernesto Valverde, because Ernesto Valverde has just been sacked as Barcelona manager. It did say that we are considering appointing Mauricio Pochettino in at the end of the season. He won't get him in now, he'll come in at the end of the season if we are to recommend him in. And reportedly, Pochettino has demanded that he doesn't want Ed Woodward as a director of football. I think he is assured he wants to bring a director of football in, more than likely Paul Mitchell, because Paul Mitchell was linked with the director's role last summer. Paul Mitchell, of course, knows Pochettino well. They've, worked together, because Paul Mitchell was the head of recruitment at Southampton and Tottenham, where he worked alongside Mauricio Pochettino. And obviously, if we did recommend him in, we wouldn't have to pay now anything in compensation. So there's still a lot of talks going on regarding Mauricio Pochettino. Obviously, though, there was reports not too long ago emerging out about Massimiliano Allegri becoming Man United's new manager. But yeah. But Solskjaer's been here 12 months. He's now, 13 months. So he's been here over a year, and he's been permanent manager now for almost 10 months, or is it 10 months he has been a permanent manager, you know. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, good result against Wolves. The performance matters, but you know the results obviously more imperative than the performance. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.